Welcome to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Janey Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi, and welcome to the podcast. I hope you're well, and you might have seen my article this week. I did a substack. If you're not signed up to get my substack articles, just I'm sure you can find the link. I'll put a link in the show notes. And I wrote a blog post which I thought was really interesting, a topic that I wanted to cover, which is something I talk about a lot on the podcast, but it really kind of got me this week because last Sunday on the Mail on Sunday, there was this big piece about Gen Zs, and how they're not drinking. The title was "What's the Real Reason that Gen Z is going teetotal?" And they say quite rightly that a lot of young people have seen what their parents get up to and they don't like it. They've seen the destructive behaviour that alcohol causes, and they don't want that. They also interview some young people who talk about their mental health and well-being. They know that it's a terrible waste of money, and why would they want to, waste money on alcohol? There's a nice clip, a little interview with Millie from Sober Girl Society, and they've got a few kind of facts in the piece, about young people and their more conscious drinking habits, from the sober curious to the teetotal, and they do. It's a really good article. It's very well done, and it's quite encouraging, I would say. I mean, I absolutely am one of those baby boomer parents who drank too much in front of the kids, and I regret it hugely. It's my biggest regret, is not stopping sooner. So I'm very glad they wrote this piece. However, if you open up the newspaper or scroll down the online article, halfway down the page, or just under halfway down the page, they've got another kind of blocked out article as part of the same article with the headline ... but moderate drinkers are happier and live longer. Oh my actual God, seriously, this incenses me. So everyone, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, looking at this article like, oh, okay, that's what young people are doing. Right, okay. Oh, let me just glance at this. Oh, moderate drinkers live longer. Oh, really? Fantastic. I'll carry on. Everyone ignores the fact that what they're saying here is, 1 or 2 drinks a week. I took that to mean, a bottle of Sauvignon a night. And even if you believe that 1 or 2 drinks a week is okay, if you were to believe that, it's unbelievable BS that people who drink moderately are happier and live longer because of the alcohol, right? They might be happier, they might have a decent lifespan despite the alcohol, but it most certainly is not because of it. It's absolute nonsense. So I wrote a Substack piece and I added some quotes in from my interview with Dr. Anya Topiwala. If you haven't heard that podcast, go back and listen to it again. Maybe I'll rerun it at some point. I'll add the link to that interview in the show notes because it was a real eye-opener. It was a good year and a half ago now, and an article came out, yet another one of those articles about alcohol, being good for you. And then not long after, a piece came out where the clinical lead researcher, Dr. Anya Topiwala, had done a whole study, along with Oxford University, I think it was, on the impact of alcohol on aging. So it's specifically around aging. And they looked at the telomeres, those little markers that define how well we age. And it was very hard hitting. It was very damning. It was really very, very clear. Alcohol is aging, end of. And I interviewed the lead researcher, and I was fairly convinced that she was going to say, oh, however, it's not conclusive, glass of red wine, good for the heart, all that. But not at all. She was really very clear in saying that those studies, like the one I've just mentioned to you, allegedly those people are happier and do okay. is despite the alcohol. It may be for all kinds of other factors. Perhaps they're eating really well, perhaps they're happy, perhaps they really are not addicted, in inverted commas. But the average person who drinks, let's face it, if you're listening to this podcast, you're not a moderate drinker, right? If you're listening to this podcast, you wish you could change your relationship with alcohol. And that's the reality. And most people do, because most people are caught in the alcohol trap. Maybe their intention is to have one. It never works out that way, particularly if something bad happens in your life and everything goes tits up and that's it. You're back down the slippery slope. So that's why that kind of messaging makes me so unbelievably frustrated, because that's the kind of piece that would have kept me stuck for another 5 years, right? And by then it might have been too late. So anyways, there's my little rant for this week. If you want to have a look at the Substack, there's a few various bits and bobs of quotes in there. But, you've just got to trust me on this. Why would you even want one? Why would you want to be able to moderate? It's bonkers. You wouldn't want to moderate class A drugs, right? Why would you? So why would you want to take alcohol? It's, when you take into account everything, they reckon it's the number one most harmful drug. I mean, look at the impact of alcohol on the health service. It's unbelievable the amount of money that's spent on crime, on harm to the economy, and on. And most certainly its effects in the workplace. And that brings me on nicely to this week's guest. I'm going to be chatting to Alex Clapp, who is a businessman. He's the co-founder of Claritee, that's spelled Claritee. It's a corporate wellness company. And he's really changing the game around alcohol, in that kind of corporate space. So fantastic work that Alex is doing. Just before we get to that, a quick reminder that Family Constellations, our workshop, is on Sunday, 21st of July. It really is amazing if you can come with an open mind and just see what that day can do for you. It's just incredible how you can shift your perception, change your limiting beliefs. Just it's life-changing. I've had a few emails recently from people who've said literally doing that constellation was the turning point. It was literally the turning point. And it doesn't matter if you're sober curious or sober or not sober. It's nothing to do with that. It's just about, well, sometimes it's called homeopathy for the soul. It's about your soul. So come if you can. It's Sunday, 21st of July in Hertfordshire. I'll make sure the link is in the show notes, or you can go to thesoberclub.com/events. So my guest is Alex Clapp, who's run multiple businesses in the Northwest, a whole bunch of really interesting stuff in your background, Alex. We'll talk about all of this. But I particularly want to talk about Claritee, which you've co-founded, which is a corporate wellness company. Alex, before we do any of that, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's lovely to have you with us. Tell us a bit about your background then. Let's just go right back, because I think you've got your own, story and resorting to alcohol to cope with stuff. So let's take it right back before we get to the good stuff that's going on now.
Yeah, so effectively, I guess I was diagnosed with some eye problems about 6 years ago and ended up losing 90% of the sight in my left eye, and being a typical guy from a certain era. I didn't speak about anything, and I chose to run away from all my problems. And at one point, it looked like I was losing the sight of my right eye as well, and things just went from bad to worse. And I just imploded basically.
So you were drinking too much at the time,
yeah,
were you?
Yeah.
Had you already been drinking too much, and it just kind of exacerbated it, or?
I would say, it's easy looking back sometimes, isn't it? Yeah. It's easy looking back, and looking back, I've probably never had a good relationship with alcohol, and I've probably used it on more occasions to numb problems, or to not face certain things, and but I was always able to cope with. It was a moderate usage. It wasn't a permanent usage. Right. That's for sure. So yeah, it progressed, and the more that I used it, the more I became reliant on it, the more I needed it, and it's a progressive illness, and it just spiraled and got worse to the point where I truly became an out and out alcoholic, where I was drinking all day, every day, first thing in the morning, having vodka, and it wasn't pretty.
Right,
Wasn't
right.
pretty.
And how did this affect your sort of family, friends, and the work that you were doing?
Oh yeah. Bizarrely, the work probably the least. I say that, I'm sure other people would maybe say, but I've always had the ability of being quite a high functioning person, and I've always still managed to, even probably during my really dark times, I've even managed to still pull it out when I needed to, and was probably just about able to muddle through. Certainly not to any degree of greatness. Let's be honest, but to do the absolute bare minimum probably. But yeah, in terms of family and everything else, it was catastrophic. My mum was going to bed at night waiting for calls to say that I was dead, effectively.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's my son. Didn't know what to do. He was completely lost, and he withdrew a bit from me just because he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, and all my family were just like lost, and the hard thing is you never listen to anybody else.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you aren't the kind of guy that this is meant to happen to, right? You're successful, you run businesses, you've been a consultant, you're doing all right, allegedly. But alcohol doesn't really care who it takes as a prisoner, does it?
No, not at all. Yeah, to the outside world, and that's how I kept it. To the outside world, everything was great, and I was used to use laughter, as humour, as a distraction. Used to, yeah, to cover up. Used to, ask everybody else or try and fix everybody else's problems, so I didn't even have to even look at my own or even acknowledge that I had problems. And it was the age-old thing of bury your head in the sand and, just keep on putting it underneath the surface and it'll go away.
Yeah.
And it never does.
So what was the change then? What was it that, eventually got you to recognise you needed some support or some help?
But see, I mean, again, I'm very privileged and lucky that I managed, well, that I went to different rehabs around not just the UK, but I went to different rehabs around the world. And in a 2-year period, I took 5 months out in total, and I spent 5 months, fully working on myself and finding myself, I guess. And it's something that I'd never known. And again, it's easy saying it, looking back, being able to reflect now, but I didn't have a clue who I was.
No, absolutely.
I lived my life on what other people wanted, what other people thought of me, and, in a completely different way. And what I believed in my head was the way I had to live. It was very, I grew up in an era where I never saw my dad cry. We never spoke about emotions. I thought that a man had to be the strongest person and had to be able to deal with everything and cope with everything and look after everybody else. And, that's the sort of moral and way that I had perceived that I had to be and how wrong it was. But it's a journey, isn't it? It's a journey. And we're all on our own individual journeys, and no matter what you're going through as an individual, there's always somebody else out there who's gone through or goes through a similar thing. And I'm one of the lucky ones who's managed to come out the other side, because there's so many people that don't.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were able to kind of get back to who you really are and discover who you really are. Were you able to rebuild some of those relationships, such as with?
Yeah, my family relationship is amazing. With my mum and dad, my brothers, and my son and everything. I lost my my marriage from it, and you know, and that was very sadly, you know, just one of those things that couldn't be, you know, fixed because of the amount of stuff that had gone on, and I accept that that was part and parcel. But yeah, no, in terms of my relationship with my son's probably the best it's ever been.
Great.
We're closest, and we are the closest we've ever been again now, which is amazing. And I'm certainly closer with all my family and my friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice.
That's great.
It's yeah.
So
it's not been an easy path, though. It's not.
No, it doesn't
easy
sound
path.
easy at all. But you know, I suppose the amazing thing is that, you know, the sort of silver lining is that you've really found this heart, really, that you really want to try and support other people, and particularly in the corporate kind of sector. So just tell us a bit more about why you decided you wanted to support people in that arena.
Yeah, I think once I'd actually really decided that I was going to do this, I was going to, you know, find my own sobriety. I decided I wanted to do something different. I don't, you know, I've still got various different businesses as well, but I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to try and help other people. But I've learned so much over the last few years that by telling people what to do, nobody listens. Nobody listens whatsoever as soon as you try and tell somebody what to do. So I decided that I wanted to show people, give people a choice, you know, and let them have a choice. So the corporate world was the prime opportunity for me to go into, because obviously all my corporate contacts, all, you know, the people who I've met over the last 24, 25 years from having different businesses. And I guess it was about looking at all the events that I'd ever been to, looking at all the client entertainment I'd ever done, and looking at everything that everybody does on a regular basis, and seeing how reliant that all of it is based around alcohol.
Yeah,
just
totally.
But just like in normal life, everybody, a celebration is alcohol, a commiseration is alcohol, a funeral's alcohol, you know, whatever it is.
But in the workplace, it's actually crazy that's still going on, isn't it, in this day and age? I mean, I remember back, you know, to when I was in radio and you know, kind of like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something, and we'd be drinking everybody would be drink in the pub at lunchtime, and then in the evening, and then you'd go to an event, you know, a radio awards or whatever the hell it is, and every single goddamn day. And it wasn't just my industry, clearly, but I thought those I mean, I think a lot of that has changed, certainly within the kind of media and journalism world. I don't think they quite kind of do the lunchtime pub thing anymore. I don't think anyone can afford it. But if you're in a kind of corporate world where, you know, there's plenty of money around often, then I suppose the done thing is to have events, you know, workplace events, team building events. It's all that stuff, isn't it? And clearly the alcohol is going to flow.
Exactly, 1,000,000%. And, you know, I guess, you know, I had to take the brave step to tell all my clients, and that was incredibly difficult. So I had to reach out to every single one of my clients, and I did it all in one go, and basically told them all that I'd struggled over the last few years, and I'm an alcoholic. And, you know, with that fear in my heart, to be honest, that fear in my heart as to I would get judged, people might not want to use me, and people would obviously talk about me, you know, behind my back, which, you know, is to be expected when you tell somebody you're an alcoholic. They're going to have an opinion, you know, and I had to get comfortable with acceptance around all of that, which I did. And I decided that if I am open and transparent, it just takes all the power away from it.
It really does. It really does. I'm so glad you said that. I think that's so true. It doesn't matter whether you agree with someone or not. It doesn't matter whether it's your experience or not. But when someone is completely authentic, you can't argue with that.
No, exactly. And to be fair, I just decided it was the only way that I was going to be able to cope with it, because otherwise, come for lunch. Let's go out. Let's do this. Let's do this. Come to this event. And let's be honest, it'd be like putting a kid in a sweet shop. I'm not. I can't then decide that I'm going to be going to boozy events because I wouldn't choose to do it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't choose to do it. It's why I put myself back into that,
Environment.
temptation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So I love the fact that I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems that what you're trying to do with Claritee is, it's a corporate wellness company, but you're focusing on encouraging, corporate events or trainings or whatever where there's no alcohol, so people get a sense of, oh, well, that's interesting. So I can actually have an okay time and still drive home, right?
yeah, exactly. And I think it's twofold, I guess, because I took it back to my own childhood and I looked at the fact that up until the age of 13, I had an amazing life. I laughed, I had lots of fun, played games, socialized with my friends, and I did anything, danced, I could do anything, and had an amazing time. And all of that was done without any alcohol
Yeah,
whatsoever.
exactly.
So I was like that, okay, so it is doable. This is doable. This is doable to have an amazing time. I also then went and looked at basically that you have better conversations when you're sober. When there's
Yeah.
alcohol not involved, you can have a more sensible conversation. If you've got a serious problem, and you go for a walk with somebody on the beach and you tell them exactly, and you spend a couple of hours talking through your problems or something like that, you have a lot better conversation than you do if you tried to tell somebody after you'd had 5, 7 pints or something, and they probably wouldn't remember what you'd said. They'd probably give you some terrible advice because they don't know what they're saying. And I guess, so I was like looking at it and going, but why doesn't this exist? Why doesn't it exist? And that was what I was questioning. Why is everything so focused? And there's this massive stigma still that sober is boring.
It's crazy, isn't it? Actually, the opposite is completely true, isn't it? Drunk people are incredibly boring.
Well, I think drunk people are incredibly annoying because
Yeah.
they say the same thing 5 times, and then they can't remember what they've said.
Yeah.
And it's mind-altering substance. It's a mind-altering
Yeah.
substance. You
Yeah.
don't get the authentic person, and you're never actually beginning to get to know somebody properly. You're never actually building that connection or that close bond because they have got a mind-altering substance inside them. So, in terms of work, you're not actually building a close connection with your work colleagues. You think that you're having a great time, an amazing time, but everybody's connecting with not their authentic self there because they're taking a mind-altering substance.
Yeah.
So actually, when you take a step back, whereas the events we've done last year, we do team play, game play, and you have effectively a table of 10. And one of the things is that somebody gets nominated as the table lead. And then you've got to decide between the 10 of you who's going to do what game and what event. And you're playing for prizes, and everybody goes around and watches each other and supports each other. And the closeness that you form from that hour and a half of that, interaction is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing because, you're all actually engaged together. You're encouraging each other. You're choosing who's got what skills to do what different thing. And there is 10 different options. So it's not a one size fits all box. It's effectively, if you're good at something and somebody else is not so good, then you can mix and match.
Amazing. So how does it work then? Do you what kind of companies do you work with, and how do you kind of pitch out to them, as it were?
Yeah, and to be fair, it's a great question because we are not closed off to working with anybody. And like anything, it's something new and it's change. And as the UK, we are not great at embracing change. Everybody goes, oh, no, that'd be boring. That'd be boring. And it's like, I've had over 1,000 people come in the last year to our corporate events, and not one person has ever given me any negative feedback or said that the event has been boring.
Mhm.
So I'm like, but it's getting people to be open to it. It's getting people to be open to coming and basically, instead of doing their um, usual event and the usual, let's take all the staff out and get them all drunk.
Mm.
Well, actually, let's take all the staff and go and basically do a team building party night without the alcohol, and
Yeah, I love
let's look at the results afterwards, and let's look at if the team perform better from forming a closer bond because of it.
Yeah, and whether they're all okay to come back to work the next day.
Yeah,
There's a hell of a lot of days lost, isn't there, to alcohol?
Well, exactly. In terms of productivity, you're definitely going to get a more productive workforce the day after.
Yeah. And what area do you do this in?
So at the moment, we have predominantly done it in the Northwest, but we are expanding and branching out to London, down south this year. And we're just growing. We're growing. And we're touching more people, and more people are coming to some of our different events. And then obviously off the back of the corporate side, we've set up Club Clarity now, which is for anybody and everybody. So that's more individuals, and we're doing bi-monthly events in the Northwest. And we're also just about to go to London in September and October.
Brilliant. So what are these like daytime clubs or nighttime things, or
nighttime things, midweek, nighttime events. Again, where it's basically offering people a safe place, to come for anybody in recovery, but then for everybody always goes on and says, "Oh, I want to do something different. I want to try something different." And we've done a few over the last few months where we've had salsa dancers, we've had live bands, we've had live DJs, we've had like gameplay, interaction, and we're doing a couple coming up in August where we're having a bit of a mix of open mic nights and a bit of comedy nights as well, mixed in with all our standard gameplay and interaction. And again, it's creating things to do, ways to connect, to be your authentic self, to enjoy yourself, and without the mind or
without poison.
Without poison,
I love it. Fantastic. So where would people find information about that? Do you want to give us the website?
Yeah, I mean the main point of contact for Club Claritee, and Claritee is spelled Claritee because it's a play on teetotal.
Yeah.
Club Claritee, Instagram, Facebook, all the rest, it's growing, we're building, and we're building some amazing relationships with different people, different brands. And I've got dreams and aspirations where I'd like to take it over the next 5 years. But being an alcoholic addict, I have to realise that I'm probably a little bit impatient at times, and I have to realise that this is probably the hardest arena and area of change to come into.
I think it's at the right time, though, isn't it? The tide's turning, definitely. And I think, the more people that are talking about how much better life is without alcohol, it's fantastic. And we definitely need that corporate world to come up to speed. And even things, lots of people will have heard me say it before, but I get really frustrated that you can go to a restaurant or a pub and you've got decent grown-up alcohol-free drinks, whether that's a kombucha or an alcohol-free beer or whatever. But if you go to a function, like a corporate in inverted commas function, there's never anything on offer. So if you're a non-drinker, you've got warm orange juice or water if you're lucky. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
it is. And that's got to change.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've stayed in a few hotels recently where they've had no options of non-alcoholic alternatives. And I just thought it was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous in the day and age that we're in now. Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Needs to change. So the more, it's just fantastic that you're raising awareness this way and doing this work. And then tell us about the awards that you're working on for the autumn. Tell us about that, the Shine Awards.
Yeah, so the Shine Awards. So effectively for the last 18 months, I have been working alongside NACOA, which is the charity, the National Organisation of Children of Alcoholics.
Yeah, fantastic organisation.
It is so amazing, like genuinely, and it's all privately funded. You get no government support. The guys there, Hilary and Piers, Hilary's been running it for donkey's years, and she's done an amazing job. But I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help them both, and trying to, build awareness, and also allow people to see what an amazing thing they do. And we've just come up with, and we've just implemented a new corporate membership, because it takes a lot of £60 donations to keep the amazing work that they do. And one thing that we've created is a business donation of pre-tiered £1,600 or £250, and the whole donation comes off anybody's tax bill. And all we're asking companies to do is make that donation once a year, because that goes a long way to helping. And obviously, I've been working with those guys for the last 18 months. So I got approached by Steps Together, who are an amazing rehab facility across the UK, to become Clarity's main sponsor. And I pitched to them the idea that, why don't you step out of the comfort zone and do the UK's first company awards night, absolutely alcohol free? And they went, "Are you mad?" And I went, "No, come on, we can do this. We can do this. Let's bring 3 amazing people, companies together. Let's bring Steps Together, an amazing rehabilitation, company that helps so many people in the mental health arena across the whole UK. Let's bring NACOA to raise money for them, and let me and the Claritee team organise and run it all." So that's what we're doing. So we've called it up.
Are there actual events, or one event, or how will it work?
No, so this one in September. So the one in September is a one-night event, 11th Wednesday, the 11th of September, at the Titanic Hotel in Liverpool, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. So we've got our usual gameplay throughout the night. We've got live bands, we've got performers, we've got an hour of the awards, which we've got various different celebrities and different people presenting the awards. And for anybody who is looking to sample one of our nights, all I would say is come and try it. Come and try it. And what I love is the fact that Darren and Steve at Steps Together have agreed to open it up to anybody and everybody who would like to come. So it's not closed off just for companies. It's not closed off. There is an opportunity for anybody in the UK to book on and to come and sample what we are doing. And they've even gone as far as to do an early bird discount for the whole of July, to try and basically subsidise some tickets and stuff, and make it a little bit more accessible for people. And it's black tie, so it's like proper three course meal, the whole night of entertainment, everything. And yeah, it's gonna be amazing to see between 300 and 400 people all celebrating, all partying, all completely alcohol free.
Yeah, how fantastic! I absolutely love it. That's exactly what we want, isn't it? It needs to be as normal to choose not to drink as to drink, right? So you can absolutely do all the same stuff. You can go and have a fantastic meal. You can dance the night away. You can do absolutely everything. But why would you want poison? It's brilliant that you're doing that. I love it.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's, I love the fact that you call it poison because I've never really thought about
Well, it
that.
is. That's what it is,
Yeah, I
right?
totally agree. I totally agree that it is poison. I totally agree. And it's funny, isn't it, that we all have that perception that you need Dutch courage, you need a couple, basically get you in the mood. And you don't. You don't.
But it
And
has the
this
opposite effect. It's actually a depressant, isn't it? That's the joke of it. That's the joke of
yeah,
it, really. We've all been
yeah.
sold a lie for so long. But, well,
Well,
it's amazing. It's amazing what the stuff you're doing, Alex. Well done, you. It's great, and thank you for being so open, about your story, because when you share that kind of vulnerability, it really helps other people, doesn't it? To recognise, oh God, that's where I'm at. Right, it really helps.
yeah, and I think anybody who's because let's be honest, everybody's on their own journey, and some people, are still, going to be functioning. Some people are going to be not functioning. Some people are going to be, and I guess it's just being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Actually be honest with yourself, and whatever your situation, you might be one of the lucky ones who has got that lovely on-off switch where you can have a couple of drinks and then you switch it off, and you
Well,
might be one.
I would not want to be one of those people because I wouldn't. I don't know why anybody would want any.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that even one glass is harmful and no one needs any, and life is better without.
Oh, listen, life, like, for me, life is absolutely amazing without. But I guess I still believe that everybody's got to learn or, got to choose for themselves.
Yeah, they've got to be
Um,
inspired by events like yours.
yeah, and to be fair,
Which is brilliant.
this is why, it's showing people and giving people that choice.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if I'm honest, I would bite your hand off to come to one of our events compared to going to a corporate event where everybody's drunk, everybody's talking to you about the same thing, telling you stories and not remembering what they've said to you, and
Yeah,
if they've said something inappropriate, if
yeah,
they've done something inappropriate, and yeah, I would bite your hand off to come to our event.
yeah,
But it's like anything, it's change. It's change. And basically, it needs the people at the top to invest in the
yes,
change.
it does. It does. It really does. And I think that can be one of the big stumbling blocks. With some of the sober coaches, that I work with, that I've trained, that some of them are in big organisations, and they've done their best to kind of step up and say, "Oh, let's organise this. Let's do an event. Let's do something." And unfortunately, what tends to happen is, the word from the big management is, "Oh, we can't do that." It wouldn't
Yeah.
wouldn't feel right. So it does it needs to change from the top. It really does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
great
like
what you're
anything.
doing.
It's
Yeah,
like anything. It's,
yeah,
change has got to happen from the top.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like whether it was working from home, whether it's, culture, whatever it is, and I speak at various different wellness events, and the change has to come from the top because we can all beat the drum and we can all say whatever we want, but until the people at the top are prepared to listen and lead by example,
yeah,
the change won't roll out as quickly as it should.
yeah.
Um,
Well, thank you for doing the work you're doing, Alex. I'll put the links in the show notes, and I hope that everything goes wonderfully. Let's come back in a year and tell us all the exciting things that have happened. Yeah,
yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to, and
brilliant.
hopefully we can get you and some of the guys to come and try one of our nights
Yeah,
out as
I'd
well.
absolutely love to. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at the dates. I'd absolutely love to come up. It'd be fantastic. Yeah, maybe do a live podcast from one of your club events. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
cool.
lovely. Yeah, that
Brilliant.
would be amazing. All
Alex
right,
Clapp from
amazing.
Claritee. Thanks ever so much. Take care.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks, Alex. So we'll make sure all of that goes in the show notes. And just another mention, Family Constellations is on Sunday, 21st of July in Hertfordshire. It's it's getting really close. It's not booked out yet, so I really hope we get a few more people so that we can run it. It's such a tricky one to promote it because not everybody knows what it is, and I get that completely. But have a look at the link that I'm going to give you, and that describes it a little bit, gives some testimonials, and drop me a a message if you want a bit more information personally. And just a reminder as well, just in case you are someone who has ditched the booze, you've got to the place where you're starting to think about wanting to inspire others. It's amazing how often that kind of comes along. You start to think, wow, just like Alex, I want to make a difference. And if you've thought about training to be a sober coach, then the training I offer is completely holistic. So if you're going to do that training, you really got to care about the whole holistic picture. It's much more than, in inverted commas, just not drinking. It's all about creating that life, helping people create the life they don't even want to begin to escape from. It's all about that holistic picture. So drop me a message if that's of interest to you. Just a reminder, if you're early days, if you're just starting out, ditching the booze, we've absolutely got your back. Reach out, tell someone, let someone know you're doing this. You can message me at Janey Lee Grace on social media. Please follow me. I'm very easy to find, or you can find my email and send me an email and just tell someone that you're doing this, and we'll kind of hold the vision for you. We'll make sure you know that we've got your back. Obviously, if you want to join us in the Sober Club, so much support there. It's not expensive. There's so much content. We've got a course, Get the Buzz Without the Booze. We have regular Zoom meetups, whole bunch of stuff in that member portal. So come on down and join us, thesoberclub.com. And I'll see you same time next week.
Thank you for listening to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.